Welcome to Tran Mods Norland. The first thing you should do is go to your sounds directory, scripts, ambient, and then take all of these and just throw them in the trash. I promise you will not regret it. Imagine, if you would, you're playing RimWorld, and there's the same few bird calls that are hooting in your ear the entire time you're playing. You're probably playing maybe a 4-hour session, 10-hour session, or at least over the course of 100 hours as you build this kingdom of yours. Yeah, those birds are going to be in your ear forever. So we're going to get rid of them. That's number one. When I was modding this, actually, we go to banners, and I was messing with the colors. When I renamed this to charcoal black and then added some other black colors, Norland would crash whenever I tried to start a new game. I eventually figured out it's because I renamed black from something else, so this has to be here. The second problem we had was I managed to somehow completely break the save system by naming this shiny gold, because I was making several different shades of gold. One of the reasons for this is you have your symbol, your background, and your foreground. And I thought, okay, I'll make a little bit of different colors for every single one. That way you can have a black symbol on top of a black background, yet still see the symbol if you just squint your eyes hard enough. I don't know how, but I managed to completely break this save system. I guess this is good if you want to make an Iron Man run, or you don't want the autosave to mess you up when you're clicking at 6 o'clock each day. Yeah, so if you are deciding to mod, that's something that you can do too. I do know that we click on the matching table, which is the other file in the directory, that there is a call for gold, though I don't know why it would break the game at all, because this just dictates the faction colors. Let's go ahead and launch the game, and you'll see that I changed some video files around. Okay, so the original intro for that used to be just a black screen with Long Jaunt, that's the developers, and published by Hooded Horse. That's one video file. The second is when you start a new game, it tells you this brief history of the world 200 years ago. Hooded Horse has a website with Norland in it. It has pages upon pages of information. Most of it is not actually applicable for playing the game. It says, like, if you have a combat hero, make him go fight. Thanks, game. But yeah, it talks about things such as the Crimson Empire, the Stone of Faith, the Charters of Humility. That's where I get it all from. That's the second video file. The third video file is the outro when you finish the game. All the things I say are based off of those lines. I didn't just I try to make it a little better. For example, the intro, if you've seen anybody else play the game, they'll say, "The history of the world is now written by you." It's like, that's a really weird way to speak. At least for me. At least I thought it was weird. So I wrote, "It's in your hands now." But that's what you'll see. We had 2 subtitle files. I could have easily baked it into the video, which, by the way, you have to render at 30 frames a second or it gets out of sync when you run it through the game. That's really weird to me. I was glad I was able to finally pin it down why it wasn't running correctly, though. But yeah, I could have baked it into the video, but I thought, no, I'm going to try to work with the game engine and just make a subtitle file, which I did. I never knew how to make a subtitle file before. And then the third file is a licensing file. I don't even know if I'm allowed to distribute this mod because that's not my music in the background. It's by Audionautics. It's called Epic TV Theme. We talked about the symbol colors already, and then 306 revised English lines. You might have noticed that it talks about your Warriors. It's like, to me, Wario! No. Along with fixing some typos and such, and new city names. Let's go ahead and hit new game, you'll see what the city names look like, and then we'll talk about the English lines. So all the cities have had a slight name change based off of the origin of their starting city. Here's what I mean. Every one of these has a culture that's already assigned to it. When you click on it, it becomes your player culture. So you see how this says Varn right now? And Enchantia is Tenaya. If I hit back, go to Enchantia, Sparktopoulos is still Varn, and Enchantia is Varn. Alright? As long as you have clicked on anything, it will have assimilated that. So if I click on this changed from Maka to Tanayan. Alright? We can see that Sparktopoulos was always Tanayan, Enchantia is Tanayan. Go back to Enchantia. So that you can see that these all had a culture. The Makans tend to have Egyptian-style names like Neth, Hep, or Tak. They have a few sets in there as well, or Osir. Those are like Osiris. I feel that they're Egyptian names, so I gave them Egyptian-style city names. The Tanayans have kind of French and Greek names, so that's what I based their names off of. But it's all based off the original context of the game. For example, this used to be called Dragonhorn, right? But I went to the Caden culture, took a look at what kind of names they had, like Diremud. Yeah, we can do that. I didn't go too far from the original source material. Alright, let's go ahead and hit start. There's some stuff about difficulty that I would like to talk about. We'll save that for a guide-based video. Nearly 2 centuries have passed since the War of the Sacred Flame brought the Crimson Empire to its knees. In the aftermath, the once great empire fragmented into barbaric kingdoms, struggling to survive amidst the ruins of their former glory. The Church of the Holy Sophia emerged from the ashes, rekindling hope and restoring a fragile peace, granting independence through the Charter of Humility to its former provinces as new kingdoms. The tribes of the dead god demand death and destruction to all of Norland, and the Canaanite marauders to the south are unassailable by conventional means. The matriarch and the strict father of the loving family await survivors of the Great Purification in their impregnable bastion, the Stone of Faith. As the years passed, the church's influence spread, guiding the people through the darkness that followed the empire's fall. But history is a wheel ever turning, and no power can hold sway forever. Kingdoms now clash in an endless cycle of wars, while hunger and despair drive countless souls from their home, seeking refuge in distant lands. Can our noble house rise above the chaos, unite the fractured kingdoms, and resist the new dark age? The story of this world is now in our hands. Yeah, and that's the new intro. I really tried to keep the original, points that I was trying to bring home, such as 200 years ago, religion is a big factor. I didn't change any of that. It's not like I'm trying to write fan fiction. I just took it and gave it a more English spin on things. One of my worries about trying to distribute this mod, other than the music thing, I don't own the music, obviously, is that the game developers absolutely do not want to hear any complaints. Like, I haven't talked to them about this, but I know for sure they do not want someone to say, I played the Tran mod and the game crashed on me. That's not helpful to them. This is early access build. They want your feedback on the actual game that they developed, and not what some YouTube dude who just got a hold of the game and did with it. Okay. Well, we did change that intro as well. I changed a lot of the text throughout the game. Let's see if we can find someone that smells on our team. You see it says astrological sign. This is where we get into the, did I translate it right or am I just an idiot? Okay. Astrological sign +5. That used to be smell. Here's what I mean. While I was working on trying to write a guide for each of these skills, right? I was thinking, okay, manners. People on Discord and on the Steam, they say that if you want to make someone's smell go away, you can raise the person's manner. Well, I'll let you know that I wanted to find concrete numbers for this. Like, maybe if you have more manners than the other guy, it goes plus smell and +10 smell. And then maybe if you go too far, it's -10 smell. No. It has nothing to do with manners. It absolutely does not. I've spent an entire generation in the game just farming manners, and that is not a thing. Let me show you what the actual game files say. We're back in the directory of the banners. Let's head all the way back to localization. You go to main.csv. If you have Norland, you have this file. Go to main.csv and open it with either Notepad or an Excel-based program. And it should be sorted into columns if you open it in the Excel-based program. Let's go ahead and look by smell. Smell. Row 2302. Opinion, mind, interest, zodiac signs. So let's go ahead and hide B. We can see that beauty is based off of appearance. Age is charm of youth. So we can see that this is what we see in the game, and this is what it translates to in code. For smell, they have zodiac signs, and that's why I could never get it to change. Even when I would increase that person's manners to 20, it still never changed. So in my translation, I put in astrological sign. Maybe the game developers just left that as an old flag and fully intend to make it smell. Okay, my issue with that is, as a game player on the receiving end of this smell business, you get people who are throwing around a lot of assumptions which are logical. You give the dude a bath, raise your manners. It doesn't help. But if you make it astrological sign, even if it's supernatural or in basis or something, even if it's not a thing that they wish to use anymore, this is what I had to base it off of, right? Astrological sign, now we know we can't fix it. So if the husband and wife team have astrological sign, interest -15, okay, now we know. It's not something we can do something about. It's not like, oh, was my dude, he just got in a fight. Maybe that's why he smells bad. No. Some other things I kind of tinkered with. If we look up favor, you'll find a couple times it says you have fallen out of favor with the matriarch. This is Holy Family became enemy. When you rebel against the matriarch, you get this message twice. The reason why you get it twice is one is for becoming the enemy, and the other is for when you're below 0. Below 0 doesn't necessarily make you the enemy, right? But let's say you drop down to -50, -70. It gives you the message for both of these things. I kind of changed the messaging around. to let the player know what's going on and they understand why they would see it twice. So there's a lot of things that I've changed. Of course, I did change the Wario thing and one instance where they have 2Ks for Maka. And one of the other things that really bugged me is when I'm trying to read some of these messages, let's go and type in worsen. We have notification character intrigue full. The full text of this says, name initiator, arrow, name target. The relationship with name third person has worsened as a result of intrigue. It's very, very awkwardly worded. Yes, as we can see from the code that this is the guy doing it, this is the recipient and this is the third person. But when you're in a moment of the game and there's no way to actually go back and look at message history for this kind of thing, it is weird to see. So I do try to make it a little bit more fluent as well. I'm not slamming the game creators by any means. I enjoyed the game. That's why I wanted to tinker with it. If I didn't like the game, I wouldn't even touch it. But I thought I could give it kind of an English facelift. But if you go to construction, I don't have access to it right now, but there's something called a scaffold. I understand what they're getting at, but I think in English speaking, we call it the gallows. That's, again, one of the other minor changes. There's 300 of these such changes throughout the game. If this is something that you'd like to see get released, please hit that like button to show your support so that Long John knows that I'm not just trying to infringe on their turf or anything like that. Thank you very much for Tran, Mods Norland. I'll see you next time.